Pakistan, yeah, Karachi. US.
Terrorist.
No.
Terrorist country.
No. I'm a world citizen.
Forget about the United
You
States.
can't define me.
Terrorist country.
Oh, well, I'm just visiting.
The most terrorist country in the world.
Okay, watch out.
What's written on it, Tony?
It says, say yes to the military industry.
Oh, say yes.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes. 青なくなりました。写真もあります。見てください。
Yankee go home. Yankee go home. Yankee go home.
We are using the right to protest you. We go home. Yankee, 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 go
All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Obadiah verse 1, and it reads, The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. All right, and what you saw through the Spirit is a video or a few videos going into Esau being despised. All right, the scripture said that the son of perdition would be revealed. All right, and what we see is a different type of spirit rising up in the earth. All right, whereas Esau, all right, for example, in the first video where you saw the guy who said that he was a world citizen. All right, it's normal for Esau to travel around the world and be treated with a certain level of esteem. All right, and it's based on the fear of Esau, Edom, all right? Because everyone understands that they're in the rulership seat. They're in the power seat as a nation of people. But now what you're getting is you're beginning to see the resistance, all right? And this shows you that the Lord is beginning to root up his confidence, all right, to destroy it. And how is that being done? By the truth, all right, consuming the world, all right, and beginning to destroy the covering cast. All right, real quick, this is Isaiah 25:7. And it reads, And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. And that's what you have right now. All right. But it's slowly beginning to be taken away. All right. From people's understanding. All right. The Lord is beginning to remove that veil, and people are starting to see other nations for who they really are. All right. Most importantly, most notably, the wicked. All right. And this is the elephant in the room concerning our people who have been taught to be docile. All right. And to prefer people's feelings over truth. Whereas you have these examples of other nations who are beginning to rise up and understand that there is a wicked on the earth. Now, they may call it Americans. They may say it's the U.S. They may say it's the so-called white man. But we know him as Esau, Edom, according to prophecy, according to the scriptures. All right. And what you saw was a few examples of different nations of people. All right. Most notably. All right. And this was from the elder Bashaquat in Vegas. He shared this. This was the first time I saw that video of the it could have been an Ishmaelite or Elamite. And he said terrorists. And what you saw through the spirit was the Lord turning the tables. Right. Because Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is used to roaming around the earth, being treated as God. And the moment he got called out for the atrocities of his nation, all right, he tried to disassociate himself. But I always thought about this when I saw that video. If that Ishmaelite or Elamite would have told him, all right, that he thanks America for everything that they do, he would have said thank you. He would have accepted the compliments or the benefits. All right. But since he's being called out for the atrocities that have been done, he tried to disassociate himself. And that's what the so-called white man tends to do. All right. Whenever it comes to what they have done wrong on the earth, they try to look and paint the picture as if they're an individual and they're not included in their nation's atrocities, even though they benefit from it. Well, a new spirit is beginning to rise up in the earth. All right. Habakkuk chapter 2. And I'm going to jump down to verse 16. And it reads, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." So we're coming into a time where Esau and the fantasy of him being an angel of light and him being the good guy is being destroyed. And the beautiful part about it is that his own actions have condemned him. All right. That's why in Job, the 18th chapter talks about him being cast. Matter of fact, let me just grab it. All right. Because basically his own counsel has cast him down. All right. Him doing all of these atrocities. All right. Because when we get on the so-called white man, it's not because he lacks pigment. It's because of the actions of his nation as a collective. This is why the Lord describes him as the border of wickedness. Whether they call themselves French, Russian, British, Australian, all of those countries have atrocities behind their names, even if they call themselves after these lands, all right, where they've changed the names of the lands. The French with so-called Africa, all right, Australia with the so-called Aboriginals. The U.S. goes without saying, all right. And so on and so forth. And now Esau's beginning to be attached to his works and his deeds, not this narrative they've pushed out on Fox, on CNN, and on Superman movies and all the hero movies where they're all Edomites. And this is a beautiful thing to witness through the Spirit. All right, this is Job chapter 18. And I'm going to start up at 5. And it reads, "Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straitened, and his own counsel shall cast him down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare." Yeah, because they gloried in these things. You think about July 4th. All right, many of these holidays are at the expense of another nation of people. All right. They call the lands by their own names. They've done many atrocities and celebrated these things. And the Lord has given them the ability for many years to travel around the world and be treated with high esteem, even though they've done these atrocities as a nation of people. When you saw the first video in particular, and what I like about that first video is that it shows you that every family on the earth, no matter who you are, you're looked at concerning the family that you're a part of. And what I mean by that is when this Ishmaelite or Elamite mentioned him being a terrorist, he wasn't talking to Donald Trump. All right. He wasn't talking to a Joe Biden. All right. He was talking to a regular Edomite, a Joe Sixpack. And this shows you that a nation is treated, all right, a individual in most cases is treated according to their nation and their family and where they are in the earth's, on the planet, on the world stage. Right now, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are on the bottom, and they are treated as such as a collective. You have reports of individuals like Oprah who may be successful, yet when she goes to other countries, she's treated like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans collectively. Now, this shows you how the Lord is beginning to turn the table, because now Esau, Edom is being attached to the atrocities that they've done. All right, real quick, Job 18, and I want to jump down to verse 11. And it reads, terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. So you have to understand that the will of the Lord isn't to just destroy the wicked, all right, who is Esau, Edom, and their counterparts, all right, their companions, including 2/3 of our people. It's not just to destroy them, but the Lord's going to put them to an open shame. And that's what you're starting to see. Those two videos, those few videos that you saw were examples of other nations calling Esau, Edom out according to the works that they've done on the earth. When you go into Psalms, the 73rd chapter, it says that they're not in trouble as other men, even though they've done horrible acts to other nations, not just Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But when you think about the atomic bombs being dropped on Ammon, all right, and different things, the list can go on forever. Yet in the world, if you think 50 years ago or 60 years ago, they weren't looked at according to the atrocities that they've done and committed on other nations. They were looked at according to the narrative they've pushed in the media. And now the Lord is beginning to stir up a new spirit in the earth. All right. Now, let me go to this. Let me go back to Habakkuk chapter 2, because I wanted to touch on shameful spewing, but I want to start up again around verse 4. And it reads, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And what you saw, particularly with the Ishmaelite or Elamite, was that he was basically taking up a taunting proverb, all right, a parable against him. So much so, and what I noticed about that video was that when he called him a terrorist, he didn't even try to fight against the statement. He didn't say, hey, the U.S., we're not bad guys. He tried to say that he's a world citizen, that he's not included in the atrocities. He can't be held accountable for the atrocities of his nation. He can take part in the benefits, but not the atrocities. And this is the beauty of this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah, because a taunting proverb is beginning to rise up in the earth. Even other Edomite countries against Babylon the Great, which is America. All right, when you think about the Russians and their rhetoric, all of these things are happening according to prophecy. And it's a beautiful thing to see that the Lord's beginning to put a spirit on these nations to begin to call Esau, Edom out. Even the average so-called six-pack Joe Edomite. All right, this guy was in, I believe it's Pakistan. All right, he's just chilling. All right. And then when they found out where he was from, they called him out. And this is the time. Esau hasn't been called out for centuries. So he's walked around the earth like he's done nothing wrong. But now through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah, the cup is beginning to pass to him. All right. Continuing in verse 9. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And what you have is these nations beginning to awake. Moab comes to mind. All right. When you think about China, they've played the background for years, decades. But now the Lord's put them in a position to where they can lift up the head, where they've turned their plowshares into swords and pruning hooks, and they're ready to go hunting. They're ready to rise up out of the lower state that they've been in under the West. And you see them oftentimes call out, particularly the U.S., all right, concerning the atrocities that have been done, all right, to them as well as other nations. And this is the time that we're in where the Lord is beginning to put Esau, Edom to an open shame, where most people used to keep silence concerning the things that he's done on the earth. All right, now you have nations beginning to rise up, and it's a beautiful thing to see. All right, continuing, it says, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land of the city and of all that dwell therein. And that's why that Ishmaelite called him a terrorist. And that's why he couldn't say anything to defend the fact that he made this comparison to Babylon the Great, which is the U.S., to terrorism because of violence and men's blood. And everybody in the earth really understands this on a collective understanding. But most people keep silence because they want to receive some kind of personal benefit from the system that they exist in. And a part of receiving a personal gain in this world is by perverting judgment. But the Lord is beginning to remove that spirit from these nations because eventually these nations are going to rise up against her in battle. All right. Matter of fact, let's go back to that. Obadiah verse 1 reads, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. And how does that start? That starts with taunting. All right. That starts with words. All right. And that's what you see. All right. The nations are beginning to rise up and look at Esau, Edom, even if it's just the so-called white man in America. All right. Eventually, it's going to trickle down because all of these nations are going to be involved in this third world's woe. But what we're seeing through the spirit is that the Lord is beginning to remove that hedge that has been on Esau, Edom for all of this time. And this is why you have examples of Esau going to other countries and them telling him to go home Yankee. All right. Where he's trying to have a good time in somebody else's country and then they call him out. All right. For what their people have done. And this is ultimately the Lord doing this. All right. Because the Lord is removing the covering cast, as it says in Isaiah, the 25th chapter in the 7th verse. That's the time that we're in, where Esau's beginning to get called out for what he's done. All right. Here it is. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have been the front and center of base men. All right. That's the narrative that's been painted for us as a people. That all we know how to do is wear gold teeth, sag our pants, and act like niggas. Even though it's not true concerning our entire nation as a collective, that's the narrative. Now what's happening is the tables are beginning to turn. And the difference is that Esau's history exposes him, man. To a point where he can't even fight against it. When Esau tries to say all we are niggas, we can bring up Black Wall Street. We can bring up our history in the scriptures. All right, we can bring up the Dark Ages. We can bring up a lot of things that show you that we weren't always in this position. But when you attach Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, with being the wicked, you got a long rap sheet of history that's attached to that you can't really fight against. Matter of fact, let's get this. This is Jeremiah 49:12. And it reads, for thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof be perpetual waste. I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. And that's what you have. Many nations despise the so-called white man as a nation of people. But because they're in the power seat, they can't speak truth. All right. They can't stand up. They don't have power to stand up against him. He's considered the hammer of the whole earth. All right. And that's why the Lord is going to be a great thing when the Lord destroys him. It's no longer going to be said that the Lord liveth that delivered us from Egypt, but it's going to be the Lord liveth that delivered us from the land of the north and from everywhere we were scattered. Because Esau's rulership is a global rulership. It's not just in one place. It's across the globe. All right. Now, real quick, let's go to that. All right. This is Jeremiah 50:23. And it reads, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. So this is why this Edomite got called out in the land of Pakistan. Just a regular Joe Six-Pack Edomite. And he got called out because, again, the Lord is catching him. All right. The Lord is beginning to expose Esau, Edom as a nation of people. And more incidences like this are going to happen in the future, because we're in the time of the son of perdition being revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with his mouth. And other nations are beginning to wake up to this. And that's the beauty of seeing videos like this, because you understand through the Spirit that the Lord is starting to stir up a new spirit in the earth. All right. Matter of fact, Isaiah chapter 14. And I want to jump down to verse 9. And it reads, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? And that's what you have. These nations don't feel any fear speaking out against Esau, Edom, particularly those in the U.S., in America. Why? Because now they're looking at these Babylonians as weak as we. As these other nations begin to develop their weapons, they begin to become more bold. All right. And a part of that is exposing Esau. And that's ultimately coming from the Heavenly Father. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I just wanted to speak on that through the Spirit. You know, man, it's a beautiful time. All right. The covering cast being cast down means that Israel, beginning with the elect, are going to know who they are. But most importantly, all right, the Lord is going to expose Esau, Edom, before he destroys them. And this is the time that we're in, where the Lord's beginning to expose him and attach him to his actions. Think about the deception of the world, where a nation of people who have done so much to other nations of people have never been attached to it fully. This is why the scriptures say he was loosed a short season to deceive the nations. But now that veil is being destroyed. As a matter of fact, I'll end it with this. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6. And I'm going to jump down to verse 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. That's who everyone is, according to the scriptures, according to the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. And that's the exposing of the wicked. And the Lord is consuming him with the word of his mouth. That's why his confidence is hunger bitten. That's why his confidence is getting rooted out of his tabernacle. Because many other Edomites are going to see that video of him getting called out in Pakistan, and they're going to start to reconsider where they travel to. All right, they're going to start to reconsider what they say and how they say and how they move. Because they were proud. They're still proud. But now the Lord is beginning to put a spirit on these nations to rise up. And it starts off with words. It starts off with calling a nation out. It starts off with exposing. But eventually the Lord is going to perform and judge the mountain of Esau. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.